Guys, welcome back. We're back with another episode of our market recap where we explain our projected trades and the reasons why we took these specific trades. So I hope you learned something from this. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Hi guys, so today we're basically going to be looking at some pairs and projections that were sent out in the VIP signal group. So the first one that we're going to start with is Euro USD, and we're basically looking for shorts at that area, and I'm going to explain the reason why I took this trade, or rather anticipated this trade, and I'm going to be looking at it from a BTMM point of view and just from a clean chart. All right, so this is what I wanted to see. As you can see, we had a trap during Asian session. We're given a second leg, right? I mean, this was our previous day high, and during Asian session, as you can see, stops were definitely taken there, as we can see by that pin. All right, so this is the reason why I wanted to look for shorts, because we had a peak, we had a 1350 crossover, and we had a nice retest right there. As you can see, this demand area was now a supply area. All right, okay, so if we look at it, as you can see, this is what happened. We're looking at this area. This is where we're looking for the shorts. As you can see, we had a second leg also scenario right there. All right, a second leg, and a very good confirmation would be a close below the 13 EMA, right? But as you can see, if you can zoom in, that close below, right here, as you can see, our close below was around this area, right? And this is a huge candle. All right, just like 10 pips, right? So what you can do is you can always use the fib, right? You can always use the fib and time your trade at the 50, 61, 80, just to minimize your risk, right? So this was a nice area, and as you can see how this played out, right, definitely got to our target. As you can see, this is what we anticipated. So we're looking at these lows here. All right, we're looking at these lows here. As you can see, the liquidity there with these blue traces, and this demand area, as you can see. All right, so as you can see, that's where price pushed down to, and this ran for over 100 pips. 100 pips to our target, right? So this was also a trade that we sent out. We also sent it out in our free Telegram channel as a free signal. So if you haven't joined that, do join it. Find the link in the description below. Okay, so now we're going to look at it from a clean chart, as I said, and the reasons why I took this trade. So if we look at this from the H4, we can see that at that area we actually had a supply zone, right? And I loved the price approach back to the area. We had a 3D type price approach, so a nice area for you to enter would be this area, right? As you can see, this whole area right there. So if we break it down to lower time frames, this is what we can see. You can see we had a 3D to that area right there, and that's the reason why I had confluence to actually take these shorts. So if we look at it from the 15 minutes, this is what we can see. All right, after there was a trap into that supply zone, right? After there was a trap, we had this previous demand, which was just being retested there, right? Demand turned to supply, right? And this was actually an intraday trade, because I had the 15-13 crossover, if you can remember from the BTMM view, right there. So this was a nice one, right? This was a nice trade right there, and as you can see, this trade actually paid out. This trade paid out. So if you're just looking at it from a clean chart, I definitely have this low here as a target. I definitely look at this low. If I'm going to go short around this area, I'll target this one. Right, as you can see, that was our point right there. So not a bad trade at all. Okay, so the next one that we also looked at was NZDCHF. This one was pretty much clean. because this was actually a reset from our higher time frames. So if we look at NZDCHF, this is what we had rather, and as you can see what's happening, anything can always change there. So the reason why I took that trade was I had a 5200 crossover, right? So this was actually the first pullback to the 200 EMA. So we also had like a nice supply zone at that same area. So this was a trap above you know, this EMA, which in the H4 that's a reset. So the 200 EMA is actually the 800 EMA in your H1, right? So this was a nice one. So intraday, see what we had, also a clean one, right? Price moved away from this area, broke structure. These structures right there, was a huge trap there, but I'm just looking at this, right, and how price was reacting to that. So we also took this one. It also paid out for an intraday trade because we're just looking. We actually want to see it continue going down, but anything can always happen at this area. So managing the trade will be important right there. Okay, so if we look at that from, you know, a clean chart, look at it from the 4 hour. Right, this is the area we're looking at right there. That was retested, and this was an interesting area because from this swing point, from this area, you can see price pushed all the way down, making a new low. So within this range, as you can see, that was actually your 50% level. So that's the reason why I wanted to see shorts here. And as you can see, we also had, you know, some liquidity being taken right there in the supply zone. So that was also a nice trade. If you look at it from the 15 minutes time frame, this is what we have. Right, we had this area, right, multiple rejections just above this area. After the multiple rejections, we finally broke structure. As you can see, we also had some liquidity being grabbed there, some eco highs. All right, so price then finally broke this area, then went back and retested this supply zone in our golden zone. And I loved that because it also had 3D type of price approach, right? So with so many opportunities to go short right there, and that also paid out, right? Not really a bad trade. Okay, so we also looked at AUD CAD, but then I did not take this trade because I was actually waiting for a second leg, right? So that wasn't presented, so I didn't jump in the trade. But this one, it was very simple, right? After the 5200 crossover, the reset was imminent, as you can see, right? So I mean, if you look at it as a structure, this is what we can have. You can see that we actually have, you know, 1 week of drop, level 1, second week of drop, level 2, and then the third week, as you can see, we also pushed down extra down there, and then finally we had the 2 levels up, level 1, so consolidation 2, reset, right? So that was also a nice one, right? But I just wanted to see a second leg. I wanted to see a second leg instead, but at that area, as you can see, we had a supply zone. We had a nice supply zone there, clean. And I mean, if you looked at your TDI, you can see you had a nice shark fin there, right? Going down to the H1, look at what we had. We had this RSI at the extremes, so that was also nice for confluence, right? In the M15, this is what we had. It was just a roll over, right? But if I was really stalking this, I would have definitely found some entries run about this area. So that's your half a bet type patterns that we have right there. Right, guys, so if you're gonna look at it from a clean chart, and the reason why I wanted to see that was if you look at it from the daily, get a better picture in the H4. Right, so we're at this level here, as you can see, And looking at the swing points, I mean, if you look at it from this area, so this area which gave us the new low, if you look at that range, that's around the 50, 61, 80 points. So that was also a nice area. And what I liked about it was we had good price approach to the area 3D. So that was also a nice one, nice trade that we're actually able to anticipate. All right guys, so I hope you learned something from this one. If you haven't joined our free Telegram channel, do find the link in the description below.